I was standing in a man's kitchen at 70 years old, a man I'd been dating for 4 months, and the stove was cold and the counter was empty, and he looked at me and smiled and said, "I figured you'd work your magic." That's when I knew. My name is Vivian Crawford. I'm 79. I was married to my husband Herman for 38 years, and after he passed, I thought I'd find love again. Instead, I found out what men my age are really looking for. And it's not what you think. I remember standing in our kitchen in Richmond, must have been 2004, writing on the calendar. Herman, dentist, Tuesday. I'd been doing that for 36 years, scheduling his appointments, packing his lunches, laying out his blood pressure pills every Sunday night in that little plastic organizer. And that morning, pen in my hand, I stopped and thought, when was the last time I went to the dentist? I couldn't remember. I could tell you every one of Herman's prescriptions by heart, but I couldn't remember the last time I'd taken care of my own teeth. Now, Herman didn't ask me to do all that. I want to be clear about that. He never once said, "Vivian, you handle it." I just did, because that's what my mother did. That's what his mother did. That's what every woman I knew did. You married a man and you became his manager, his nurse, his secretary, and his cook. And nobody called it a job because it was called love. Herman was a good man, a postal carrier for 33 years, came home tired every night and still asked about my day. He loved me the only way he knew how, by showing up, by providing, by being steady, but steady doesn't mean equal. And I carried things he never even knew I was carrying. When Herman passed in 2006, colon cancer, went quick. I grieved him real. I grieved him deep, but somewhere underneath that grief, there was something I wasn't prepared for. A breath, like I'd been holding something tight in my chest for 38 years, and it finally let go. I felt guilty about that breath for a long time. Then I started dating again. I was 68 years old, and I thought I was ready. I thought I knew what I was looking for. I didn't, and I need to tell you about the 3 things I learned the hard way. Because if you're a woman over 60, thinking about finding love again, these might save you from making the same mistakes I did. The first man I dated after Herman was a fellow named Ray Simmons, retired electrician out of Charlotte, 74 years old, full head of silver hair, and a smile that made you feel like the only person in the room. Ray took me to dinner, brought flowers, real ones, not gas station bouquets, called me every evening at 7. For the first time in 2 years, I felt seen. I felt chosen. Now here's how it happens, and it happens so slowly you don't even notice. The dinners out became dinners at his place. "Come over, I'll cook," Ray said. Except Ray didn't cook. I'd get there and somehow I'd end up in his kitchen, making something out of whatever he had. Then I noticed his pill bottles were a mess, all mixed up, half of them expired. So I organized them. Then I started picking up his groceries when I did mine. Then I was doing his laundry because he said the machine confused him. 4 months in, I drove to Ray's house for what he called dinner at my place. I walked in. Kitchen was empty. No food out, no pots on the stove, nothing. Ray was sitting in his living room watching the news. He looked up and smiled and said, "I figured you'd work your magic." I stood in that doorway and something shifted. I wasn't Ray's girlfriend, I was Ray's new wife, minus the ring, minus the commitment, minus any legal protection, just the labor, all the labor. I can't hate Ray for that. His wife Dorothy did everything for him for 45 years. Everything. When Dorothy died, Ray didn't just lose his wife. He lost the person who kept his entire life running, and he went looking for a new one. That's what he was taught to do. That's what our whole generation was taught. But here's the thing about Ray, and about a lot of these men. Ray was retired. He wasn't providing anymore. The old deal was, he earns, she manages the home. But the earning was done, and he still expected to be served. The deal was broken, but nobody updated the terms. I ended things with Ray, told myself it was just a bad pick. The next man would be different. He was different. He was worse, because he was kind. Douglas Whitfield, Doug, 77 years old, retired math teacher, widowed 3 years, the gentlest man I ever met, outside of Herman. Doug remembered my birthday, sent handwritten notes, actual pen on paper, listened when I talked, never interrupted. Nothing like Ray on the surface. But here's what I didn't see coming. Doug couldn't cook anything more complicated than toast, and couldn't keep track of his blood pressure medication. Got anxious in the evenings if he was alone too long. And I, trained by 38 years of marriage to hear a need and fill it, I stepped right in, didn't even think about it. It was like breathing. Someone needed something and my hands started moving. Within 3 months I was cooking dinner at Doug's house 4 nights a week. I was filling his pill organizer on Sundays, the same thing I'd done for Herman. I was driving him to doctor's appointments because he didn't like driving in traffic. I was 72 years old and I had a whole new job I'd never applied for. Then one night, October 2013, Doug fell getting out of his recliner. Nothing serious. Bruised his knee. But who did he call? Not his son Michael, who lived 10 minutes away. He called me. I drove 20 minutes across town at 9:30 at night. Helped him up. Put ice on his knee. Made sure he got to bed. Driving home that night, my hands were shaking on the steering wheel, not from fear, from exhaustion. A tiredness I recognized from somewhere deep, the same tiredness I'd carried the last 10 years of Herman's life. The feeling of being needed so completely that there's nothing left of you at the end of the day. My own doctor told me my blood pressure was up. I'd gained weight. I'd stopped doing my morning walks with my friend Loretta. Stopped reading at night because I was too tired. I was disappearing again. Doug wasn't a bad man. I want you to hear me say that. He was a man who never learned to boil water or swallow a pill without someone handing it to him. His wife Eleanor had done all of it, just like I'd done it for Herman. And when Eleanor died, Doug didn't learn to take care of himself. He just waited for the next woman to show up, and I showed up, because that's what I was trained to do. I loved Doug. But love is not supposed to make you tired in your bones. The hardest part? He was so sweet about it. He never demanded. He just needed. And for women like me, women who were raised to believe that being needed is the same as being valued, that need is like a hook in your chest. You can't just walk away from someone who needs you. It feels like cruelty. It feels like failure. But I knew I had to. I just couldn't see clearly enough to do it on my own. That's when my daughter said the thing I'll never forget. I called my daughter Patricia, Pat, a few days after Doug's fall. Pat's 55, works as a social worker in Richmond, sees family patterns for a living. I was telling her about Doug's fall, about driving across town, about the ice on his knee. And I was telling it like a funny story, Like it was nothing, Pat got quiet. That quiet she gets when she's choosing her words. For the same job with a different man is for the same job with a different man. Is that really what you want for the rest of your life? I couldn't answer her. I said something about Doug being a good man and needing help and it not being the same thing. But my voice cracked, and Pat heard it, and I heard it. I hung up the phone and sat at my kitchen table for an hour. Didn't move, didn't turn on the television, just sat there. And I cried. Not sad tears, angry tears. I was angry at myself and for almost doing it again, for walking right back into the same life I'd just gotten free from. Different man, same kitchen, same disappearing act. I called my friend Loretta the next day. Loretta and I have been friends since we were girls in Richmond. She'd been widowed the same year as me, and she'd been dating too, a man named Vernon. I started telling her about Pat's phone call, and before I could finish, Loretta said, "Girl, I buried one husband. I'm not about to bury another one I'm not even married to." She was going through the same thing, same exact thing, cooking Vernon's meals, driving him places, managing his house, and she was tired too. That's when I understood. This wasn't about Ray being selfish or Doug being helpless. This was bigger than any one man. This was a whole generation of men who were never taught to take care of themselves, and a whole generation of women who were never taught that they didn't have to take care of everyone else. And I have to be honest with myself too. Nobody forced me into Ray's kitchen. Nobody made me drive to Doug's house at 9:30 at night when he has a son 10 minutes away. I did it because for 72 years I didn't know who I was. If I wasn't taking care of somebody, that was mine to fix, and I fixed it. I didn't leave Herman's house to move into someone else's. I'm 79 years old now. I live alone in my house in Charlotte, and I need you to understand something. I'm not lonely. I am free. I have a list on my refrigerator. I wrote it the week after I ended things with Doug. It says things I can do now. Sleep late on Saturdays. Eat cereal for dinner if I want to. Read until 2 a.m. Travel with Loretta. Sit in my own silence. Real silence. The kind where nobody needs anything from me. That list is still there. I read it every morning with my coffee. Now, if you're a woman over 60 and you're thinking about dating again, I'm not telling you not to. I am telling you to watch. Watch what he does in his own kitchen. Watch whether he can cook a meal or if he's waiting for you to do it. Watch whether he calls you or his doctor when he's feeling poorly. Watch whether your life gets bigger with him in it or smaller. You spent your whole life taking care of people, your husband, your children, your parents, your church, your neighbours. You have earned the right to take care of yourself. Don't let anyone, no matter how sweet his smile, no matter how lonely his evenings, take that from you. Herman, God rest him, would have wanted this for me. I truly believe that. I think somewhere in those 38 years, he knew how much I gave. I think he'd be proud of me for finally keeping some for myself. I'm 79 years old. My name is Vivian Crawford, and the best relationship I've ever had is the one I'm having right now, with my own life. If this resonated with you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. And if you want more stories like this, stick around. I've got 79 years of lessons and I'm just getting started.